Hi guys, I'm back up here with another message for the collective. Remember, all readings were not for all, they're for some. Take what you need and leave the rest, as well as we got that slot open for personal readings. If you feel guided or interested in purchasing one of those, you can DM me. We can get you set. I can fuck with your girl, okay? As well as drop a comment down below. Love to hear from you guys to start the discussion. As well as let's go share these vids, man. Let's get this divine knowledge out here for the collective so we all can get on one accord, okay? So I will not be on screen today. I'm just going to speak to y'all, okay? So the channel message here that God kind of put on my dome piece, not really my dome piece, it's more, it was inspired by a video by one of the, I guess, influencers that I fuck with heavy, you know. His name is Immortal Mindz, right? He's all over my social media. I put the video up. Shout out to him. Send him some love. But while watching that video, he said a particular line, a particular phrase that really kind of sparked my mind and put me in an energy to really elaborate on what he was talking about, okay? So that phrase was, I kind of reworded it a little bit, but it around those lines, right? It is, avoided the silence because the fear of what you may hear, okay? I repeat again, avoided the silence because of the fear of what you may hear, okay? So when it comes to your walk, because you know, this walk, trying to find God and understand God and be with God and trying to consciously walk this walk, it's between you and God, no one else, right? So it's going to require you to be in, most of the time, solitude, right? The whole video he was talking about was about solitude, quote unquote monk mode, right? This is that energy here. A lot of people avoid the quote unquote monk mode, the solitude, the silence, because of the fear of what you may hear within the silence, right? So that being said, if you are in, at the end of the day, after you go through your day and shit of that nature, and you have to lay down that night in between those four walls, you're in between those four walls, you're left with yourself. You're left with your thoughts. Being in that silent, that solitude, that quietness, that's when you really hear God speak. And sometimes when God is speaking, it's some shit that you may not want to hear, right? This is that energy here. That's the difference between, I'm just going to call it how I see it, the weak and the strong. The weak and the strong. Are you able to hear within silence, despite what the fuck you hear, good or bad or ugly? Can you swallow that pill? Because most people can't swallow that pill, so they look for distractions. Hence, three of cups, right? Distractions to distract them from what they do or away from what's supposed to be, right? This is that energy when you're in that space of solitude. Understanding solitude is the time that you hear the loudest. When God really reveals itself to you the loudest and really speaks to you the loudest in that space of solitude. But within that space of solitude, you cannot be scared to... Because before I even say that statement, a lot of us like to talk to God and ask God, God, please, I need your help. This, I need this going on here, this, that, and the third, wooty, wooty, woo. But we're doing all this fucking talking to God. And most of us can't even sit down and actually, I guess, hear. When God starts talking, it's like, shit, I don't want to hear, I don't want to deal with that. Why? Because of the fear of what the fuck God may say. Because God gonna say some good shit to you. God gonna say some ugly shit to you. God gonna say some bad shit to you. Right? Let's say, I don't know. Let's say you smoke weed or something, right? And you overindulge in it, right? Let's talk about overindulgence, right? And God telling you, you need to sit that shit down, right? That's no fun, right? And God's that friend that loves you the most, but you don't really like your friends that love you the most and care about you the most. You like your fun friends. God is not your fun friend. You know what I'm saying? God is the friend that gives a fuck about you. So that being said, it's no fun fucking with God, right? And this is that energy when God starts to talk. Sometimes it's hard for us to be able to bear what the fuck God's saying, right? And like I always tell y'all, this journey ain't for the fucking weak, dog. It ain't for the weak. You know what I'm saying? And you're going to have to be able to be in a space of willing to hear and also capable of hearing and withstanding what God tells you. Because sometimes the shit when God start talking back, it can get real sometimes. Right? Like, for example, like when you know that you are at your point right now in your life, good, bad, and ugly, it's because you brought yourself there. Right? Like my favorite reader always says, shout out to D Boom. He says it's your fault even if it ain't your fault. It's your fault even when it ain't your fault. And that's being able to swallow that pill. That's a hard pill to swallow. You know what I'm saying? To really take accountability on a whole different level for your life and for your walk and where you are in your life. Being able to look at yourself in the midst of the silence and embrace what the fuck it may say to you. Right? Like, you a lethal motherfucker because most people can't step in those realms. Those are dangerous territories. Dangerous territories. And only the strong will survive within them spaces. You know? So, before wrapping up this reading, when it comes to avoiding the silence, that's where you hear the most. That's where you get most of your downloads is within the silence. You get most of your clarity, most of your strength, most of your ability, intuitive gifts, all of that shit. Most of your awareness, enlightenment within the silence. When it's silent, when you have to battle yourself in the silence, in the fire, in the furnace, right? We know diamonds are created under harsh conditions. They're created under harsh conditions. You know what I'm saying? And when they're fully blossom, when those diamonds are fully groomed or created in a way that they need to be created, they come out beautiful. They come out flawless. But within that process, it was created within harsh conditions. And dealing with yourself that shit ain't for the weak, y'all. I'm dead serious. Sometimes you see yourself in other people. And God used that as a form to show you how the fuck you are acting. And that's a hard pill to swallow, to be like, yeah, I'm looking at something that is a reflection of me, right? So, okay, this is playing out in my reality. So let me reevaluate my shit, right? Where is this stemming from? Right? Where is this stemming from? Oh, let's say that you got, I don't know, abandonment issues, right? And when whoever, mother, father, significant other, anybody, etc., walks away from your life or gives you you feel as a threat that they're walking away from you, you're going to start acting in your shadow side, your shadow behavior, that shit that you thought you didn't know that you had within yourself, right? This is that type of energy to keep clamps on shit, right? That's just an example, and that's for those who need it. But once you let's say you really start analyzing your situation, this person threatened to walk away from you or do any of that situation, ... wooty woo. You have to look at that situation. You start analyzing like, shit, damn. I remember when my daddy walked away from me when I was younger, and I ain't had a relationship with my dad, or I ain't have a relationship with my mom, right? This is where that abandonment issue stems from, feeling abandoned, feeling left, right? But it takes a hard pill. That's a hard pill to swallow, to accept that reality, because it's easier to blame other people. It's easier to blame other things. Shit, I'm fucked up because I'm stuck in this situation. Or the signature saying, shit, this is just the way I am. This is the way I am, right? This is that energy here those are all scapegoats to not deal with your shit, right? That's why avoiding the silence because of the fear of what you may hear, right? Say that one more time. Avoiding the silence because of the fear of what you may hear is what keeps people away from their greatness, what keeps people away from their highest potential, what keeps people away from the love of their life, that keeps people from that dream career, that keeps people from that business opening, that keeps you bound to the world, that keeps you from experiencing your best life because of the fear of what may be said in the presence of silence. And to me, that's weak sauce. That's weak sauce. That's the difference between the weak and the strong. Can you withstand whatever is said to you when you in a space of silence, when you are left with your thoughts, when you are left with your emotions, when you are left in just with you, when nobody's around you, when nothing's around you, nothing to fucking distract you? Are you able to withstand what the fuck the silence may tell you? Right? Right. To wrap up this reading, because I gotta go, right? Do not be afraid of the silence. Do not be afraid of quietness. Everybody views silence or being quiet. No problem, boo. No problem. Everybody views silence. Let's talk about silence real quick. Especially when it comes to communicating in relationships and things of that nature. They view silence as weakness, or not weakness, awkwardness, right? We talk about awkwardness, right? And it's like, oh shit, no one's saying anything. This is awkward. Sometimes things just don't need to be said. Being able to embrace that space of solitude, silence, and allowing the silence to speak to you, right? Despite what it says, despite what it is, despite what's going on, right? Being able to sit within that space. Being able to fight with yourself. Because being within your four walls, right? Because you could be alone in the midst of people, places, and things around you. But you will never escape those four walls. Right? This is that energy where being able to sit and be still within that space of silence, despite what you hear or not. Being able to chuck that shit up. Because I'm not going to get too crazy with it. But God kind of revealed to me in my personal life where I wasn't allowing myself to sit within the silence. Instead, I was resisting it and oh, I'm good, I got this is that, let me shake that shit off, let me ignore it, let me do this, let me distract myself by doing that, let me do this, right? Where there was a point in my life where I had to, God stripped everything, stripped it from me, and I had no choice but to deal with the mess that I made or the dirt that I'm sweeping under the rug, because the rug's now piling up, right? The more dirt and more trash you sweep under the rug, the more that bitch piles up, and the more that eventually you're going to have to clean up. And within that space of having to deal with that solitude, dealing with that silence, I had to get that work. And it was kind of like a spiritual ass whooping, where you know better. It's that type of energy. God is not fucking around with the divines no more. It's time for you to do what is necessary for yourself, because there's too much work out here to be done. Too many people are not on a purpose yet, or either not on a purpose, or not in the process of being able to find it. But the way you find that shit is through what? Sitting in the silence. Waiting for the next thing that you may hear in the silence, despite good, bad, and ugly. Right? So, last statement of the night. I gotta go, right? When it comes to the silence, do not be scared to sit in the silence, and do not be scared that about what may be said, because what may be said might change your fucking life. What may be said in that period of silence might save your fucking life, right? Because being out in the world, you're skeptical for a lot of shit. You know what I'm saying? You're skeptical for a lot of shit, to fall into a lot of shit. Let's talk about, let's say, I don't know, fucking killings, wrong place, wrong time type of shit, right? That comes from a space of not being what? Home. Home. Those that are home are not skeptical to the ills of the fucking world. I told y'all, it's hot outside. Go in the house. It's time to go in. The street lights is on. It's time to go in. Because it's too hot outside. It's too much shit going on out there. And being out in the world, you could be skeptical to what the fuck is going on in the world, even though you ain't from the world. Right? Right. I think I'm going to leave it there. Remember, all readings are not for all. They're for some. Take what you need to leave the rest, as well as we got that slot open for personal readings. If you feel guided or interested in purchasing one of those, you know what to do. DM me. We can get you set up. Come fuck with your girl, okay? As well as, let's go to drop a comment down below. Let it hear from you guys to start the discussion. As well as to share these vids, man. Let's get this divine knowledge out here for the collectors so we all can get on one accord, okay? So to wrap this up, do not be fearful of the silence. Do not be fearful of what may be said in that silent place, because that place may save your life. That place may turn your life in a whole different direction you didn't know about. That place is what's going to get you up and motivated over that hump that you're under, right? You're trying to get over this hump, right? That silence is what's going to help you get over. After you get over, the grass is greener on the other side. People say it's not. Nah, the grass ain't greener. Fuck it is. Get over the hump. Get over the hump. That grass is greener. It's healthier. Right? But you got to get over. It's going to take work to get over. You ain't just going to get over. Right? Right. I want y'all to have a good night. Take it easy. And bye-bye.